Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And if you enjoyed my first video about my tummy tuck journey, I kind of talk about the reason why I got the tummy tuck and what led me and kind of like the research that took place. So this episode is going to be Tummy Tuck Journey Part 2. And I wanted to use this time to talk about some of the things that happened during my recovery time. One of the major things that happened during my recovery was I was very concerned about what the scarring would look like. So after surgery, they end up putting tape. They tape like your belly button. They put like a cotton inside to kind of keep the belly button to create its form and tape over it. And then they tape the incision. And then there's a little holes on the hips where they put drains. Now, in my conversations with certain people, other people who've had tummy tucks, they told me they didn't have drains. Now, I also did get massages to help with the drainage, which I highly recommend. Not even joking. And they have to be from somebody who this is what they do, not somebody who's like just doing it for the business, but they actually understand the therapeutic aspect of the lymphatic drainage and the massage draining. Because prior to surgery, I already had like a really good diet, really nutritional diet, I should say. I had a nutritional diet and very good water intake. I don't think I had issues with draining. Even when I got the massage, I got a total of 10 massages, and I think I did that for, she massaged me every week for 10 massages, I think twice a week for the first 3 weeks, and then they went to once a week until I ran out of massages. Highly, highly recommend the massages. I did not do a faja, because my doctor did not recommend it, and I did take it upon myself to do one like 6 weeks after surgery because personally, I was scared of the incision busting back open. So I did not want to wear anything super duper tight over it. But let's talk about my first time getting out of the house. My sisters took me to Sawgrass, and immediately just walking from the car to the entrance of Sawgrass, I got super winded. And so they had to get a cart and put me on a cart. So I got super winded. So you kind of go through this phase or this pace where you recognize you cannot just hop back into life. The great part is I'm a business owner, so I was able to deal more with clients on a virtual level because I do work mobily and virtually. So I did take clients mobily. I still was creating content. I had created a batch created content for the business with the marketing strategist at the time. We had batch created content prior to surgery, so they could just keep that going and keep the marketing going. So that really worked out in my favor. To be quite honest with you, if I was working like a more practical job where I wasn't working for myself, I don't think I would have been able to take all of the time off that I took. But yeah, that first trip out the house, I got super winded, and it was still COVID, so we had to wear masks. It's 2021, so I was still wearing a mask, just so I wouldn't get sick. Drinking a lot of fluids to maintain hydration. So my sister would make me like an aloe and pineapple juice mix. Drunk a lot of lemon water. I just maintained hydration, eating a lot of high protein, high fat food. So salmon, just maintaining, regularly eating. I didn't do too much on the pain med side because while the pain was actually not as bad as I anticipated, I did feel pain, but I would take half of the pain medicine. Now let's talk about the pain medicine real quick because this is something outside of me because of course I'm under having surgery. The doctor ended up having to prescribe me a different pain med, I guess along in the same classification, same category, so that my mom and my sister could pick it up. And it just so happened because my sister looked like me and she had my ID, she was able to pick it up. But there has to be a better way. Like if these doctors are going to be prescribing such strong pain meds, they should have a pharmacy on site because there was like literally the way my mom and my sister explained it, an hour before picking me up from me waking up from surgery, they just had got access to the pain medication. When I first woke up from surgery, the first thing that I said when they woke me up was, "Oh my God, I'm alive. Call my mom, call my sister." So they called them and let them know I'm awake and everything. But when they were picking me up, and I kind of remember like getting put in the wheelchair, getting put into the car, I did throw up. Not quite sure why, but they said that's like part of the process. So I threw up like twice. And so it was like, just make sure I get some Gatorade, get some electrolytes, a little hydration. and I should be fine. And I think I went back to like eating, maybe like the next day I ate regularly, because again, I already had a nutritionally sound diet. So I would eat my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner. Like, I wasn't heavy into, leading up to surgery, I wasn't really heavy into eating fast food. And if I do, I always choose like a more nutritional option. But I did find I couldn't eat things like Chick-fil-A. It was too much salt. It would create too much bloating. But again, I was very conscious in watching like my scar, watching my scar, and it ended up keloiding. But maybe, keloids happen. I have keloids on the back of my ear piercing, so keloids is a part of it. If it happens, it happens. There's nothing the doctor can do to prevent that if you have that type of skin. What else? Let's see. When getting post-surgery, some post-surgery drama happened, you could say, some post-surgery drama, because of course, again, I'm getting surgery in the middle of being with someone who is toxic and abusive, and so there was that aspect of things going on. And also my home was also under construction, with that being said. So we also had to, once I finished, I did 2 different suites. I stayed at one suite for a week and another one for another week, so that I could have time away from the kids to induce, more productive healing. Because again, the type of situation or the type of relationship that I had, I was like the primary parent as well. It very tumultuous. But using this platform to talk about, my tummy tuck journey is like 3 years post-op. So I was like, I've never talked about it. Very few people know, because again, it wasn't a significant notice or a significant difference in saying, oh my gosh, she got surgery. There wasn't any significant difference, because I could always find clothes, 1, that fit my body type, and 2, unless I wore like a dress that was like more tight here and I would hold my stomach, then you'd be like, oh, is she a little, because there's a before picture where I do look like, it was literally the day before surgery, where I do look like I'm like about 4 months pregnant, or maybe like a little bit postpartum, because I did have on like one of those house dresses. I started to buy like the little house dresses to be able to wear after surgery. Now let's talk about these drains, because my doctor ended up going on vacation prior to me seeing her for a follow-up. So when it was time to take the drains out, we called to schedule an appointment, and they're trying to talk me through taking out the drains. So I was not going to do that. I was not comfortable with that. So I did go to the ER and let them know, hey, I'm post-op and my doctor's is on vacation, and they said, nah, I need to get the drains taken out. So there was that. I don't think that's any negligence of the doctor, but knowing what you know now, it's like, hey, you could have scheduled this a little bit different, or have me keep the drains a little bit longer till you get back. But having your team try to tell me how to take out the drains, I'm not a medical professional. I am a healthcare provider, but that's not my realm of expertise. And I paid for a service, so I wanted to get that full service. Unfortunately, she didn't take out the drains. I did go to the ER to have them taken out. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we get that all the time, because the hospital that I went to was actually close to the plastic surgery center. So they was like, oh, we get patients that need with plastic surgery issues all the time. And they went ahead and did it. And funny enough, I met a nurse, Black woman, of course, and she was like, oh, you gotta tell me how you feel about it. And I was like, I really don't know how I feel about it just yet, because like with this little situation with the doctor. But she's like, I've been considering it. And so from the rooftop, I'll tell anybody, if you're considering it for the right reasons, of course, but it's your body, your choice. So if you're considering it, just do it. Figure out a way, come up with a plan, make sure you have people who support you, make sure you have a team. If you don't have a team, make sure you can afford to buy one, right? Because you're going to need a nurse. You're going to need a place where you can heal. And if you have children, you're going to need a partner who can help you with the children. Unfortunately for me, some of that burden still bared on me post-op. So there was all of that. But hindsight being 2020, would I do anything differently? I think I wouldn't. It was an experience unlike anything. I haven't had any C-sections with my children. People who have had tummy tucks describe it like They said C-section is worse. I never had a C-section, so I don't know, but I can definitely tell you it's nowhere near childbirth. The pain was very, if you compare it to childbirth, it was on the lower end of the scale for me. Again, like I said, I didn't take any of the stronger pain meds. I think I had to take an antibiotic if I remember correctly. And there was 2 different types of pain meds. I think I was always taking the lower dosed one. So not too bad. But again, just some things to consider, your healing time. So then I waited a year. So March 19, 2022, I started working out, lightly working out. I started out once a week for that first month. And then the second month, I was like, let me go twice a week. And then after twice a week, I started to do 3 days a week. And 3 days a week is typically my max. Then I realized I would be hunched over. So to help with some correction in my posture, I want to say a year and a half later, I started to see a chiropractor. And then a little bit after that, I started to get massages regularly. And then I started working with an acupuncturist who I draw blood for. And so I started getting acupuncture to help me just relax and everything like that. So there's steps, there's progress. But here I am 3 years post-op, and I'm still having to continue the work. My stomach is still numb because they go in there, they move the nerves around, they pull tummy, tuck in, everything. The bottom half of my stomach is still numb. But that don't mean when I do workouts, I don't feel them. So I still feel them. So I think at this point, maybe about year 4 or 5, I might start to get some feeling back, because I did do Pilates, for the past 2.5 months. And so around month 2.5, I started to feel, my lower abs activate. And that's kind of the goal, is to have those lower abs to be activated. And build up that core strength. So if something was said that encouraged you, you can share this with at least one person. Remember, your body, your choice. You have the funds, you do what you want to do. I mean, do what makes you feel good. Do what adds to your quality of life. Remember, you can tune into Black Girl Say Something every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, we post an episode right here on YouTube every last Friday of the month. And I think I already have the topic for the next episode. So just make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on TikTok. We're over there. We have a lot to say. Thank you for tuning in.